Pleasure to welcome you all in Delhi tech community, Delhi Power BI user group, Delhi Fabric user book, though we go by the name of Delhi tech community, right, as you all know. And a warm welcome to all of you this Sunday. And thank you so much for sparing time on the Sunday for joining for this community learning program. And Gaurav, I'm very pleased to welcome you today as a speaker. And just for everyone's knowledge, Gaurav is a senior consultant with Centric Consulting. I have the pleasure of working with him for over past 5 years now as well. He is the eminent personality in Fabric. He's been, working consistently with Fabric for past 2 years since its launch. Done all the certifications and multiple client implementations as well. So today, Gaurav, we are all ears as you explain to us how Model Context Protocol, which is the latest sensation in AI, right, and how it is affecting Power BI development, semantic model development, as well as Fabric development. I think it's a very niche topic, discussed as I think as recent as Microsoft Ignite event, right? It's been just a month out there, and we are already looking at the impact it is making. So over to you, Gaurav. Again, welcome here, and the platform is yours.
Thank you, Abhinav. Thank you, everyone, for having me, and it's a pleasure to be here, to sharing, knowledge. It's always great because it let us. It's a two-way because it will also let me enhance more insight, get me more insights on it. But yeah, thank you so much. Just a brief. As Abhinav already mentioned, I have Gaurav Negi. I have 9+ years of experience in BI space, and I am Microsoft certified. I am implementing Fabric from last 2 years, and before that, I'm part of data analysis, engineering, and reporting sides, and I have worked all three, major roles on all in the BI spaces. So, and let's get towards directly on the topic. I won't take much time on me, but yes, the topic that we are going to have today, I have a small presentation for you guys, and we'll go with that. Hope my screen is visible. Right, Abhinav?
Yes, it is. So,
Sure.
Gaurav, yes, you can
So
proceed.
cool. So for two-way topics, as mentioned, it's MCP model contracts, and it basically more focused on BI space. How business intelligence is basically evolving around the MCP because and today's agenda about it is AI evolution and how MCPs come in picture, and then how Microsoft BI spaces have a vision on the MCPs, and then we will go dive into the demos of how Microsoft MCPs are working behind the scene for MCP and for the analytical part where we have Power BI MCP server. We will also see Fabric engineering part and a little bit touch on the Fabric RTA MCP. Now, MCP before MCP, how AI evolved as a user, how we used to interact with the AI, how it evolved, and how we come to the MCP part is we all know that after AI generative AI boomed, we all explored Chat GTP and Claude, and it's a simple way of communication. We put it some inputs and we receive some outputs based on the LLM. We are interacting and we are getting based on how powerful the LLM is. We are getting the information about regarding what we queried or what we prompted. Move on when we start generative AI. We thought about generative AI is not the only part of it. When it evolved, it gave us a prompt engineering concept which is not there before that. When the prompt engineering come into the picture, we know we have to provide some specific prompts regarding in a specific format. There is a standard way of to ask questions to the LLM, and we get a result output based on that. And how much accurate our prompt engineering is, how much accurate result output we will receive. And moving with that step, we evolved into the that prompt engineering is not the only solution. Now we have context engineering, where the prompt is not the only solution. We can also provide some context around the query that we are giving him, LLM agent, and from that context he can drive more insights, more helpful desired output to us. And one example of that is RAG systems. We provide a source knowledge source to the LLM system attached to it, and then when we query regarding our queries regarding that query, regarding related to that source systems, and LLM can dig into the source system and extract the insights more accurately from that insights and give you the information. With context engineering, then we found out that we can make our AI agents more sophisticated, more intelligent, more task workers, that they can provide us more hands in our development, in our insights and all. And then it comes to the agentic AI. where you not only think and respond, but also act based on the information that, or based of the instructions that you provided to him. And with that, we provide him more information about explore, make aware him about more tools like database, about emails, about search engines, so that he can interact with all of these applications and also perform some tasks. Now, the challenge come with the agentic AI is that we have multiple, tools in the world. We have so many tools, and for that, in agentic AI, if he needs to have some insights about these tools, we need to write some code so that he can understand about the, what tool can perform, how can it perform, how he can interact with it. Now, this is very tedious work for any you have an agentic AI, but there are tools, there are companies with service which provide services, and to let the agent AI use their services, they need to they need to provide something so that the agent AI can consume and understand what that tool is basically performs, or what's the function that he can perform. And due to which the concept of MCP evolves. And how it evolves is that it's kind of communication protocol. It's kind of a way that it lets the AI application to connect with the external systems, and it is an open source. And because of that, it becomes a standard throughout all the organizations who can implement it. And because it's a protocol, it can remain the same standards, and it is very easy for any agentic AI to come into the picture and connect with all these tools. So they don't need to change their applications based on the agent tool. So whether you are using Visual Studio, Copilot Hub, or you're using Claude AI, or say in future you have n number of agentic AI, you don't need to re-implement all the you know tools, applications, or these companies don't need to give or provide specific applications for each of the agents. They have this common standards which each agentic AI understand, and with the same application they can do it. And let me give you just a small example, which is the basic to easy to relatable and understand. So let's suppose you have a hotel, and in a hotel you have a different type of rooms, standard, luxury, and all these are tools basically for that hotel. You as an AI agent, you come into the hotel and you select a room. And when you go into the room, each room, as it is a tool, it has its own functionality. It has AC, it has TV, it has curtains, it has curtains, and it has lightnings and all. And each of them have their own servers, or each of them have their own remote controls, which you have control each of the functioning of each of the inside that room. So now you want in a room to have a atmosphere of romantic. You want a room in a room to have a atmosphere of a party or enjoyment or relaxing. So for that, you have different type of functioning that you need to configure for each of the tools. You have a correct temperature of AC. You have a specific type of songs in the television, in the TV unit, and you have a proper lighting of the room. And these are different functions for each of the rooms, right? Each of the tools have their own set of remotes, all type of settings and all. So if an agent come to into that, it will be very tedious work for each room to provide a manual for each of the user to to for that specific environment. You need to do these type of steps so that you can get a proper environment of that room. Instead of that, what they provided, that there are 3 buttons which says click on this, and it will automatically do all the configuration of the room and give you a romantic feel. If you click this button, it will give you a relaxing feel of the room. And similarly, how model context protocol is, it just provide you that console of 3 buttons which give you that if you want in a room a romantic environment, you just need to click it, and every tool or the functioning of that tool will perform accordingly what you want. This will give you that this will that room, this context model will you, if your user is an English user, or you come as a Chinese user, or a new LLM comes into the root room, he will not find any difficulty to have that atmosphere of that room. So that's how MCP basically helps a developer, helps an AI agent to use the tools with ease, and they don't need to re-implement again and again for each of the servers. And that's how MCP have their own architecture. They have this 3 architecture module in their components. First is your host, as I mentioned. You have a host like Visual Studio, which basically coordinate or manage between the multiple MCP clients. In the MCP clients, you have Git Copilot Hub, or you can have Claude, you can have different things inside your host, which basically connect to your server. Now, server in our example can be an external server, as you think of a web application which reside over here, which you connect, or it can be local world, that you can have a normal, a Python code inside your own Visual Studio that act as a server and which provide you the functionality you need to perform. So it can be local first, or it can be, or anywhere in the website. Uh, and this is how the component of MCP basically tied together and give you an entire environment for an AI agent to basically connect with multiple tools and aware an agent that these are all the tools and these are going to perform all these functions, and how you can connect with it. And in the moving forward, we'll see demo in the Fabric Engineer how we set our own server for my Fabric engineering part. But yes, once MCP introduced, you have heard that this basically revolutionized in terms of coding, where we have C#, we have .NET, because it is a part of coding side. But how it is changing the BI space, how it is getting reliable, or it is getting more important in BI space. So Microsoft came in and say, okay, we also need to do some of the evolutions inside this in the BI space for MCP Vision. And they come up with four. Right now there are four MCP in the Microsoft side. Is once is your Azure MCP, which is already in general availability, and with that you can connect with any agent. AI agent can connect with your Azure portal with correct authentic configuration credentials. After that, you can perform any of the functions that in your Azure portal you perform. You can ask the agent to perform all those actions, and the actions can perform in the Azure portal. So it is general available already. Now, apart from it, we have three more MCP which are right now in BI analytics side, and they are the Power BI MCP Server, which basically just for Power BI development, on the semantic side and not the visual side. We go into that deep more. Then we have Fabric MCP Server, which basically focused on the engineering side. Now everyone know that Fabric is now contain all your segregated tools or modules, which is like Snap, your data pipelines, and all those tools under one hood, and there is one storage like. So for that, there is the MCP, the Fabric is there, the entire contain the entire module into one under the one hood, and the Fabric MCP will provide you the access to that hood, so that you can perform all the actions, all the engineering stuffs in the Fabric engineering environment or tenant with this MCP, and we'll look and dive into it. The other part is that Fabric also providing you the RTI feature, where you have real-time intelligence and real-time information. Like you can have real-time solution for doing all your real-time analytics, event stream, KQL database, and all. So for that also, Fabric is providing your RTI MCP, which is also under preview right now. And how this MCP providing a developer a power to develop things and efficiently. Each developer can build and reuse the fast components, of course, because MCP provides you all the functionality in one under the one no block box, and you can directly answer and question with that, connect with that MCP, and perform all the actions with that. It will reduce your duplication and accelerate innovation, because now it is very easy for user. It is very easy for developer to easily do a bulk operations using these MCPs with one go. So you don't need to go one and one and do the duplicate efforts or tasks again and again. It is secure, governed, and agentic for flow, because it is environment we are using it because it is provided by the Microsoft itself. So it is much more secure and governed. And you can also see how your agent is basically interacting with this MCP, and you can look which features or what actions or tools is basically using it. And again, because all these MCPs are providing different, for different solutions, we have these MCPs. You can bridge entire analytics, cloud infra, and apps together in one place, and you can use this MCP not in one agent, but you can create multiple agents with all these MCPs connected together, so that they can perform all the analytics from your engineering side, from your reporting side, from your Azure side, everything in one place. And why we say that generally there you can use this agent not only with Microsoft VS Code, but you can also use it with your Cloud AI environment as well. And why we prefer to be used as a VS Code, because if you think about many of the clients, if you have face, they are very they are basically already using Microsoft stacks, and Visual Studio is part of that environment. So it is easy to bring the customer or bring the client or to align on the same AI stack rather than asking him to shift into the new environment, introduce a new environment into his, into his company, into his organization and all. So it is, one of the things. Plus, it it is also able to integrate with other, solutions of your Microsoft environment. For example, Azure AI Foundry. It is easily the Fabric, the Microsoft BI MCP. You can easily connect with it. Plus, in the Visual Studio, if you have any, have you explored it, Visual Studio provide you extensions to different modules. For example, in the VS Code, you can connect with your Fabric data engineering part. You can connect with your SQL servers and all, and that extension is provided in VS Code itself. It is not provided in your, Cloud AI and all. So why it is helpful? Because let's suppose, in AI agent, you are developing all this stuff and you want that directly connect with your database or directly connect with your Fabric environment. And you can, do that with the VS Studio easily because it provides extensions to that. Whereas in other, AI agents, is very difficult to connect with that extensions because it's not provided over there. So now let's move towards the first demo, which is our Power BI modeling MCP server, how it works and how, it interacts. So basically, as I mentioned, that Power BI modeling MCP is basically an MCP protocol or a function that is, or an extension you can say, that is provided by Microsoft itself, and it basically works for semantic layering only. And how a developer will interact with it. A Power BI developer comes with interact with the VS Code, where we have Git Copilot Hub, and using natural language. And because Copilot Hub is already having all the agents, you can directly ask him, to connect with my MCP, protocol extensions or tool. It connect with it, and after that, you can just ask him to connect with any of the Power BI report which is open in my desktop, local desktop. Or you can ask him to connect with the Power BI workspace, or you can ask him to work with PBIP, which is the new format of storing the Power BI reports. But we're gonna look into the desktop version because it is more secure and safe, because you can look into in your local version of the copy that how it is editing things and stuff. And then later on, if you found out that everything looks good and perfect appropriately, then you can save or publish that report back to the production environment, or the environment, the Power BI service environment. Now, once we have installed the Power BI modeling MCP and it is connected with your Visual Studio, then you can directly chat or perform operations on your Power BI report on the semantic layer. So semantic layer contains all your modeling stuff, or your measures, or your columns, or your table names, anything you can perform manual work on your semantic, that can be performed easily by this MCP tool with the agent itself. And we are going to see in a minute how we do it. But just an overview that how it is really helpful in terms of building and modify semantic model. Helps in developer to build and build the semantic model. It helps in bulk operation scale. It apply modeling best practices. You can standardize entire model, just one code, just one prompt, and it will standardize all your, the entire model for you. Agentic development workflows, because it's a part of that. And you can query and validate tags. So you can also validate, and query about regarding the tags, and verify the result of it and implement that. And let me, with that, it's more about talking, but let me show you directly how it looks like when you start working on it. And I have this specific task for you, but let me just first give you a look how it looks in VS Studio. So who have familiarity with it, it's good. But the people who don't know that, Visual Studio, how you can integrate your MCP tool with the VS Studio, you just need to download the VS Studio, open it. You might need to, if it is a new version, if you recently installed it, then you already have this chat function, which is basically a Git Copilot Hub already, aligned with your VS Code. If not, you need to go into the extension part, and then you need to install the, the chat, the GitHub Copilot chat thing. Once you install it, you will get this interface, beautiful interface of AI agent. Once you have all this thing, you need to install the Power BI MCP extension, which is this Power BI modeling MCP. You need to just click and install it. Once you installed it, you might to reopen your Visual Studio again, so that your AI agent able to connect with it. And once you have it, you can confirm that your MCP is up and running by open this chat box, click on this tool section, go. So after when you click on it, you will have this window pop up. And you can see over here, you have all the MCPs that you have installed in your VS Studio, and you just need to check it. click on it so that it will mark checks that this AI agent is now can use your Power BI modeling MCP. Once you have this in place, now the only thing that you need to do is you need to open your Power BI report in your desktop, and then give him a specific prompt that connect with my Power BI report this, and it will connect with you, and we will show it how it will doing it. Uh, what we are doing in this demo, I'm just going to give you a quick look that what is we are doing, that we are going to connect with the I am already tell you that you need to just add the MCP extensions. We are going to perform some actions, like we are going to connect with our Power BI desktop, which is AdventureWorks. And once it connect, we do some analysis, and then we using this we create some measures. We looked into the how we can create same measures using a logic already there in the model. We see some of the calculated tables, how AI agent helps to create calculated tables. We look some bulk operations, standardization approaches, how we can achieve that in a fast way. And then we look about the relationship. Can he able to delete the relationships? Can he able to make the relationships and all? So this is we are going to look into our demo. And this is the demo that I have already set for you, because there are a lot of time, but we'll go through it. So this is, you can see, this is my Power BI report that I have opened, which is AdventureWorks. And on the right side, I have this VS Studio chat power, and I just ask him that Power BI underscore MCP, that use this MCP and connect to my Power BI desktop. And now agent is going to do his background work, because everything, you don't need to implement any of things. MCP will provide you all the functionality behind it. So it's going to think about it, how it's need to connect with the with your Power BI report behind the scene. And once he start executing, you can see that he's going to perform some of the operation. You can see like this RAN connection into operations and all. And once it able to connect with your with your Power BI report, it will at the end say, okay, status is connected. And the way he's connected, he's using a port, basically a local port, to connect with your Power BI report. And once it do that, it will tell you that he's able to successfully connect with it. Once you have it, you generally ask, okay, if it is connected, tell me all the tables in the model. And that's what I did. I asked him, okay, list all the tables in the model that I have in this Power BI report. So he's going to perform some of the operations, which is like table operations and all, and he's providing you all the tables which is reside in my Power BI report. So you can see the names of the tables that I have in my model, in the Power BI model. He's basically giving me all the model names. So this is confirming me that my AI agent is now directly connected with my desktop Power BI report. Once it is connected, now we are doing some data analysis tasks. And in my Power BI report, I have customers, and it's basically a sales report where my customer basically order something and all. And there are some income level, there are some occupation, and there are their date of births. So I really want to know. So the information is not, with the information which is not inside the report, I want the agent to tell me regarding customers that, under each occupation. So there are multiple occupations. So I ask him, under each, occupation, give me the customer and their age. So age, I know there is no column or any measure in my model age, but in my model, there is a date of birth column. So I'm expecting that, agent is self-sufficient, that he's understand that code, and, he's able to extract the age from the date of birth. So that's what I just give him, that I want the customer and the age who order maximum in under the each occupation, and give me the overall the customer who generate the maximum revenue about from all the occupation. So he's going to think about it, and he's going to analyze things and all. And meanwhile, what I did, I created a normal matrix where I have all the occupations, all the orders, sold quantity, and revenues. And one thing that I really like about it, so in my model, I have this order measure. And I hope that, this agent will get confused and give me answer based on my order, because order contains unique order IDs. It's not giving me exactly total sold quantities, because I asked him giving me the, maximum orders. But the agent is self-sufficient, that, he bypassed the measure of order, because he might able to understand that, it's giving you unique order ID. He looked into quantity sold and give me answer based on the quantity sold and not the orders. And you can see over here what he generated the answer. It's like, in under the occupation management, customer key, the name, then the customer who basically ordered the maximum is Jennifer Simpson. And if you can see on the management on this side, Jennifer Simpson, she basically gave the maximum, old quantity, basically 106 in entire management under the management uh, criteria. And he also calculated the ages and giving me the ages for each of the customer under each of the occupation. And I just verified for every one of that, and it perfectly and beautifully gives me the correct answer for each and individual category, which kind of feels good, uh, that he's able to understand it. Because one thing that we are going to do with this is that we are having an additional job or role while using AI, is that to validate or authenticate whatever the AI agent is giving us. So that's what I did, that I have validated that he's giving me entirely the correct answers for each of the for each of the query that I'm asking to him. So you can see he generated all the answers correctly with it. Now once I have I have all this I analyze this, and then, so let's suppose your customer says, okay, that's good, you give it to us, but we want that information in our Power BI report as well. So what I asked him that, can you create me a DAX measure? You can see below here, I asked him, can you give me all the DAX measure based on the logic that you created above? And because I want that the agent that is creating the measures does so I am able to identify that which measures he has created. So I asked him to measures that ever he is creating, he just need to prefix with MCP underscore, so that I am able to distinguish between the measures that he's creating. And I asked him, and then he's working on it, that how he needs to create whatever logic he needs to create. And if you see, he's starting, and in the measure table you can see I have this MCP. He started building the MCP underscore measure for me. So there is right now one measure, MCP underscore this one, and you will see he's going to create 4 measures. As he mentioned over here, he is going to create 4 measures based on the analysis he done above. And you can see over here, there is one measure underscore top, the second measure pop up, and I'm not doing anything. I just ask him to do it, and he's doing all the development tasks for me. He's creating measure. So you can see 2 measures are created, 3 measures are created, and now he's going to create the 4th one, the last one. So he created 4 measures for me with the MCP underscore prefix, so that I can be able to identify or distinguish between them. And as I mentioned, the new role for us is to identify and to validate that he done things appropriately. So what I did, I placed all these measures in my report to verify that these measures are basically, or DAX measures are really working or not. So I just placed all of them. And after placing it, I also added one slicer for occupation, because I want to see based on the occupation what's the maximum, what's the customer, who's the customer with maximum orders and their age. So I put that, and you can see that out of 4, 2 are giving me blank. And I thought, okay, these 4 out of 4, 2 are basically are not appropriate, or not working function, or not working appropriately. So I asked him to reevaluate these measures, because these are returning blanks and no values. So I asked him to please correct the DAX. So he work again, he think again, and said, okay, let me see. He basically reevaluated DAX. He's going to run the measure operations, DAX operations, and you can see that he again reevaluated and redefine the DAX and start building the DAX. And in a second, okay, obviously you can see over here on the right side, he created all the DAX. He basically readjust all the code of the DAX, which is not giving us the appropriate answer. And once you have that, now the values start popping up. I just need to refresh again, but I just need to refresh the model. And once I refreshed it, for each of the occupation, the measures giving me the exact values that we have just validated above for each one of them. So this is the really cool part, that we are not only just analyze the data, but we are also developing the measures. Next, I asked him, okay, can we can you explain me the 90 days rolling profit? And it is very easy for the IA agent, that we all know that he's easily able to do it. But what I want further, that not only he is able to explain it, can he also add some definitions on the property side of the measure. So if you see right now, this 90 days rolling profit, the description is blank. Okay, we have some synonyms, but the description is blank. And maybe in our entire model, we have all these measures which with empty descriptions. But as AI agent is evolving, we need our model to be more suitable for for the AI agents to consume the model and to understand behind these measures. And for that, we basically we want more context, provide more context to the AI agent, how we can do it, providing more information in our model. And in the Power BI, we have this descriptions part for each of the measure, where we can provide descriptions, we can provide synonyms and other informations. And if you want to fill all this information by yourself, you need to go one by one to each and individual measures, add the descriptions, or you can create this by with Copilot. You need to do that, and then you need to put synonyms by your own one by one. And suppose you have hundreds of measures, or 50 measures, 25 measures, whatever, you need to do one by one. But with this method, with this MCP agent, you can just ask him, and this is one of the bulk or scale operation that you can do it, that you just need to ask him, okay, that with in my entire model, just add descriptions to each and every measure in my model. And within a second, he just going to add all the descriptions in your measure. So that's what I asked for. Just for my 90 days rolling, I add him to brief description to measures in my general property. And you can see in the description, just in a second, it will pop up the entire description of this model, of this measure. And this is just in seconds. So let's suppose you have to add all this information in your entire model. How you can do it? Just ask him to do it, and he will just add the descriptions in your entire measures. This is one of the bulk operations. But now let's suppose you have, when we have measures and we want to create more measures out of the same logic, we need to re-implement again and again. What we can do, that we can ask him to based on, so right now I have 90 days of rolling profit. I want to be two more measures of 30 days and 60 days. I just need to ask him, with the same logic, create me two more measures. And you can see right now I have just 90 days of rolling profit and 10 days of rolling profit. He's going to create two more measures for me. And if you remember, in my earlier prompt, I asked him to, whatever measure you are going to create, always use MCP underscore. And he memorized that instruction in his history chat. And based on that, he is implementing that as well. So now the two measures that he will create, he will use underscore, MCP underscore as a prefix. So you can see on MCP underscore 30-day rolling profit and MCP underscore 60-day rolling profit. So see how easy the development will be for a Power BI developer as a semantic modeling, that, with the using of AI agent, he can do it. And you can verify the tags as well if you want, because that is one of the responsibility we need to do when we are working with AI agent. So I did that. And now, he created two measures. Now, I think many of us will follow a standard, when we have a time intelligence functions in our model, we generally keep them in a one place so that it will be easy to, organize things and all. So what I did over here, I have a lot of measures over here, and I really want, one folder which says time intelligence, and under that one folder, I want all my measures to be accumulated, which related to which related to the time. And that's what I asked him. I asked him to create a folder, time intelligence, and move all the time intelligence measures into one measure table. So under this measure table, he will create a folder for me, which is time intelligence, and he read out all the measures that I have and move the relevant measures which belongs to time intelligence into that folder. So in a couple of seconds, you can see I just scroll down and there is a time intelligence folder that he created by its own. And meanwhile, what is he is doing that? Meanwhile, he's also reading all the measures and moving that measures into my time intelligence folder. So now you can see in the time under time intelligence folder, he organized, or he accumulated all the measures which is related to time intelligence. And I haven't tell him that which measures are time intelligence related or not. He itself sufficiently analyzed the code of each of the measures, and basically based on that, is related to the time or not, he's going to organize that under the same group, the time intelligence folder. So one by one, he's going to me and he's going all the measures related to the time, like previous month return, profit, order, revenue, YTD revenue, and the measure that he also created itself, like MCP1 time intelligence. So he basically organized as per our instruction that we shared with him. Once we have all this, this is one of the scale, you can say a scale operations that a developer can do, and in an efficient manner. Next, what I want that, does the AI agent only limited to the measures or the columns? Can he create a table itself? So this is one of the this is one of the table I have in my model, which called model measure. And what it is, it basically derived from one of the DAX measure, which is info.view.measure. And this table gives me all the information related to a measure. Now I delete it manually, so that I just ask him, then, can he create a table for me, calculated table for me with this DAX? And I just give him the prompt that, create a calculate tables model measure with using info.view.measure function DAX. And he's thinking, and he's already connected. So he started, creating the table. You can see right now in my model, the table is not there. Over here, there is no table called model measure. But in a second, he created it, says model measure. You can see he created again model measure, and the only thing that we need to do is just we need to refresh it. Once I refresh it, every information or the functionality of that measure or the DAX he's need to do, he's there, and the table is created for me. Once I have it, the next thing that we are going to see is related to the relationships. Okay, and let me just remove this one and open you a second one. And right now, this exercise can be done by any of you, because in Visual Studio, for each one, it's like 100 commands is free. So any one of you can go into that deep down and start exploring it. And I also use the trial version. It is not required any of the licensing part for exploring and learn this stuff. And it is really cool to see what can we achieve using this. And this is using basic AI agent model. He doesn't require any high end of high end of model, because we are not dependent on prompt engineering. We are dependent on MCP capability. In prompt engineering, we need to define our prompts in a way that AI agent can understand and perform the actions. But over here, because we have MCP capability, we don't need to be limited to the prompt engineering only. The MCP give us a fruitful or a powerful insights to the AI agent, so that he can provide the operations. Now, the next that modeling I really want is that, can he able to delete the entire relationship in my model? So I just ask him to can you clear all the relationship in my model? And let me just keep up the speed at 2. Yeah. So you can see on the left side, just moving forward. Yeah, you can see on my right side that he start deleting all the relationship I have in the model. And what I am doing, generally we not refer an AI agent to give such type of capability. I'm just checking it that can he able to delete stuffs? Can he able to delete the relationships as well? And can he rebuild the relationship as well? So for example, a new model come into the picture, and we have this document which tell you that these are the tables, and these tables are related using these columns. Can he able to make the relationships again for my entire model, for a new model that we have? And that's what we did in this exercise. If we just ask him to first remove all the all the relationship that I had in my model. So he's going to delete, and you can see the lines which basically tells you the relationship between the tables is removed one by one. So he's basically removing all these relationships. Once he removed all of them, I asked him to rebuild it. So I have this document where I have all the information regarding the relationship for my model. The table name, the information regarding how they need to connect, and the key column that you need to net. This is the documentation that we are providing, because this will basically your model is basically depend on some business logics, and you cannot throw that into the AI agent and ask him to create the relationship on your own, because then there are many stuffs that go wrong. So that's why we need to document something, and we always have that documentation in projects that we maintain it for the client as well. So we just need to provide that document to the AI agent, so that he can understand that relationships in itself, and based on that he can just need to build all this relationship. So that's what I asked him. I asked him just build all the relationship in the model as instructed by this file, relation.md file. And he start thinking, he's preparing tools, and you can see over here whatever actions we have done so far. He also remember that and showcase you that how many things he has done so far. So you can go back and you can see that okay, these are the steps that you have gone through. And just wait till some couple of seconds, and you can see on right, one by one the connections are start building, the lines start building with each of the tables that I have mentioned in the report, and he is recreating all the relationships in the model one by one. So this is now the power of your MCP, MCP Power BI server MCP, where whatever you can think of as a semantic layer, you can just ask the agent, and agent is there for you to develop this. Now, a perspective from a Power BI developer, how ease, I won't say it is, but it will make him more efficient. His work become more easy to do. He just need to monitor it, because monitor is now a new role as a Power BI developer as well, that he needs to monitor it, he needs to validate it once. But yes, this will give us a good hands on a Power BI developer, that he can use an AI agent to do a bulk scaled operations, which is a tedious work, in just a minutes. And you can see he created all the relationship. I just need to do, at the end we just need to do refresh the model, and everything will be there, the entire relationship will be there. So this is regarding all good stuff about Power BI MCP, how Power BI MCP will help Power BI developer in developing all these stuffs, all these operations and all. And this is one part. Now, this is regarding the reporting side. Now think of it as a engineering side, how engineering side is going to develop, or and going to be more powerful with Fabric MCP server. But the issue is that because it's in a preview right now, the Microsoft, if you install the extension, if you go into the Visual Studio, and in the Visual Studio go into the extensions part, and you just say Fabric MCP. If you click on MCP, this is the MCP you need to install. The thing is that it is right now in preview. What it can do, it can just give you information regarding the APIs. It can give you information about the item definition. It can give you information about the best practices, but it cannot perform any of the actions. Right now, it cannot generate or create any of the stuffs in your Fabric tenant. But what I did, I get, because now we have the understanding of MCP, right? How we can create the MCP servers and all. So now what I did, I go one step ahead. And what I did, that I create my own MCP server. As I mentioned, that MCP server can be on your own machine itself. So what I did, that I create one. So I am going to show you this one, this Fabric server.py. This is a Python file which basically acts as a server for me. In this server, what I have done, in this code, what I have done, I have created some functions. So you can see this, weight of operations. You can see create a warehouse and wait. And these functions, what they are doing, they see basically behind the scene, they are calling an APIs. So you can see list of workspaces. What they are doing, they are just doing APIs calling. And with this API callings, they are doing these stuff, because with the REST APIs, we can perform actions, right? If you haven't done the Fabric CLI, or you can do the REST API. With the REST API, you can perform actions on the tenant as well. So what I did, I create my own function, this function file. Under this, I have created these functions, all these functions. And this is some of the standards. When you create a server, you need to use it, like _mcp.tool. So this tell the agent that this function is basically an MCP tool so that he can utilize it in his operations. So you can say list database, and when we run the demo, you will see that the agent basically using these functions. So, and that's what behind the MCP servers is all about. They are using these functions. They are designed these functions in a way that any agent can consume it. And they consume it because they know that these are the standards. If there is MCP_tool, they know that below this is a function that they need to consume for do any operations. And with this 3 dots, it will tell you what this function basically doing. So that's what I have given this information, that what this function is doing, and this is example, so that AI agent can understand what this function is doing, how he needs to use it, and when he use it, what APIs he needs to call it. So this is my server basically. And when you create your own server, if you want that connect to your Visual Studio, you need to create this mcp.json file. And over here, you have some syntax that you will basically defining a server. So I created this defining a server. I have the 16 tools which say 16 functions I have created in .py file. And I give him the name that, okay, this is the name. And I'm using Power BI token right now. So I provided my authentication token to him so that he can use it to connect or validate with my Fabric environment. So when I run it, when I run this function, this file basically, it's going to connect with my Fabric tenant and start performing actions. So let me show you that. And this is the beauty of it. Like any one of you, if you think, you can create your own Fabric server, or any server, any application server, and you can use it. Your agent can use it to communicate with it, and you can control it because you know how you have designed the coding behind the scene, and he can use that coding which you have validated, you have created, so that it will be secure. And you don't need to depend on third party, and you can create your own organizations, AP MCP servers, which is more secure to you for you. So you can see right now I have this tenant, and what I am doing to do in my tenant is that I am going to create a workspace called dev underscore MCP, and I am adding MCP as a prefix or suffix so that I can able to identify what AI agent is creating. So I used, I asked him to create. So in this instruction file, I have this dev dot underscore MCP. So I asked him to create a workspace with underscore MCP. I asked him to create 3 folders because we generally in engineering side, we use Medallion architecture. So I asked him under the MCP workspace, create 3 folders, bronze, silver, and gold. Under all these 3 will contain their own works on their lakehouses, like raw lakehouse, curated lakehouse, insight lakehouse. And in the gold, I have a warehouse as well, .edna underscore edw underscore wh. Then I asked him to create a pipeline as well in the bronze folder. In the bronze folder, I asked him to create a source to bronze ingestion pipeline and a notebook in silver folder. That's what we are doing, in this. And then we also look at regarding the deployment pipeline. So let me see if it is in speed of 2. Yes. So now you can see, right now I don't have any of the MCP dev MCP workspace. So I asked him, okay, create a dev MCP workspace if not exist, and then create it and assigned it a capacity. And we all know that if you need to perform any of the Fabric items or operations, we do need license. So I asked him, can he able to assign a trial capacity? That's what I asked him to, assign a trial capacity because I'm not an admin of a capacity. So I asked him. So what I already did that he created the dev MCP. If you see over here in this in the left side, I don't have any of the dev underscore MCP. I do have prod and test, but I don't have dev. So over here, dev underscore MCP workspace will pop up as soon as he hit it. And you can see that the function that he's running, list underscores, list underscore workspace, these are the same functions that I have defined in my file, py file. So he's using that MCP and using that file and using those functions and creating the workspaces. And you can see over here, I just need to refresh my tenant. Once I did, in my MCP, you can see there is a dev underscore MCP. He created it, but he cannot able to assign a trial capacity because to assign a capacity, we need a capacity ID. And I don't have the trial capacity ID. So what I did, I manually go and create a, I assigned it a trial capacity and asked him to, move forward and execute all the instructions given in the AI, in my instruction files. So once I do it, and just in a couple of seconds, you can see that over here in MCP underscore, in dev underscore MCP workspace, the folders you can see, it will pop up. I'm not doing anything manually. The AI agent itself sufficient that he is working on my tenant, my Fabric tenant, and creating all the stuffs. And now this is a cool way a technical architect can design things in a minute, in an entire client workspace, and they can validate it. So you can see he created all 3 folders. He is now creating artifacts like warehouse, lakehouse, and you can see that they are pop up and they disappear, because he is moving that into the respective folders that I mentioned in my instruction. So you can see it, lakehouse will create it, and then he moved it. A warehouse created, he moved it one by one. And at the end, you can see all these folders will contain all the information that we asked. And this is how powerful it is, right? This is how things will, in future, a Fabric engineer or architect will basically have a instruction file for each different, based on the projects. They can replicate it in so smoothly and so efficiently that they just need to ask an agent to deploy all these things, and he in a minute give you a basic structure of entire thing. And future is what I think is that as we have extensions in VS Studio as well. So you can connect your VS Studio directly with your tenant, and you can open up any of your pipelines, and any of your database can be connected with your Visual Studio. Maybe once your agent is able to communicate with your these extensions, he's also able to create or configure all these things inside it. He can also create all the databases and all the tables. Right now, if we need to do this operation, we need to do it manually. We ask him, the agent, to create all this based on the prompt, or based on the files. And once we have that information, we ask him to generate the stuffs he generated. We need to copy that stuff and go to the Fabric tenant, open the for example SQL or any pipeline, and then plot or paste code in that, and then we need to verify and validate it. But the future is that once AI agent will able to understand these extensions, he can do that things as well, efficiently. Yes. So back to the demo. Sorry for that. But back to the demo. So you can see that, for each and individual, let me see if he did that. Yeah, for each and individual folder, we can see bronze, gold, silver. In bronze, I have lakehouse, and I have this pipeline that what I have asked him to create. If I go back, I look into the gold, I have the lakehouse and the warehouse that I asked him to create. Similarly, in the silver, he created the notebook and the lakehouse that I have asked him to create. Once I have this, so my basic Medallion architecture is all set. I don't need to go manually and do it, all these stuffs. He able to do that. But now what I really want to challenge is that he is able to do the deployment, create the deployment pipeline, Fabric deployment pipeline, and connect all my workspaces and stuff. So what I asked him, the next step is that, can you create a deployment pipeline with MCP underscore, create 3 states, test, dev, prod, and connect that states to the correct workspaces. Like, dev MCP workspace should connect your dev state. And that's what I did. I asked him, I provided him this, deployment pipeline.md file, my agent. And you can see on the left side, I don't have any deployment pipeline so far, in my tenant. So I asked him to, can you create, build, I attached the file. I asked him to execute, the instruction mentioned in the deployment pipeline. .md file. And just sit. And you can see in seconds, he just created entire deployment pipeline, created all the 3 stages, connect all these 3 stages with your workspaces, and your deployment pipeline is ready to go. And behind the scene, as I mentioned, he is using the same functions that I have created, all the same APIs that I have created. So he's using the same. I just need to allow him to, do some actions, so that, he's just asking me, do you allow me to do this? And I'm just giving him approval that, yes, you are allowed to use these functions and all. And that's what it's security. If he is doing something, he asks you, and you are giving him permissions. Okay. If you don't think that, it is reliable for an AI agent to do it, you can give him that, you don't need to do it. And you can see now that, in the deployment pipeline, I have this deployment pipeline over here. I have 3 stated, as I mentioned in my document, MCP dev. He created MCP dev, MCP test, MCP prod, 3 stages. And all these 3 stages are connected with my workspaces, dev MCP. So dev underscore dev stage is connected with my workspace. Similarly for the test and the prod one. So from an engineering standpoint, not only he is able to, basically giving you a best practice and all, but engineering side also you can develop and design an entire architecture. And as I mentioned, in the future, you can able to also do all the stuffs from the Visual Studio itself. You have the extensions, your AI agent is self-sufficient. The only thing that we need to ensure is the security. Maybe there may be new guidelines that we need to ensure that, the security will be there. We need to monitor it. We need to validate it. This is, one of the thing that we need to monitor, we need to see into it. And these 2 are the demos that we are going to show you today. And there is one thing that we just touch base. And similarly, because now you have a basic idea how MCPs are working for reporting for Fabric engineering side. Similarly, for the RTI side, we have the same architecture. With the Visual Studio, you can connect your Fabric, RTI items like event houses. You can connect with your streaming event streams, and you can ask him, you can create, you can, communicate with him. You can execute your SQL queries, KQL queries directly into your KQL databases. You can see the schemas, meta schemas and all, but all these things are right now in a preview. Microsoft is currently working, And this basically concept the same, it's resonate the same as we have seen right now for the fabric engineering, because it's RTA is also part of engineering side. But yes, they have a different MCP servers. But yeah, this works entirely the same way that that you have seen right now. And this is all about that. I have today for you guys to to look into it, and anyone can go and work on it, and you can explore it more, and you can add more functionalities like I did for the MCP engineering side. You can add more functionalities, you can more explore it and make it more powerful. And I think this is one of the feature that is going to be rolled out soon from Microsoft side as well. That's it from my end. And any questions, any, are welcome.
I think it was a great session, Gaurav. Honestly, I mean, it just blown the mind completely the how the overall development is changing with this whole extensions and all. So thanks a lot for covering all of this pieces all together in one session. So we get an idea that what exactly we can do versus what not. So amazing one. I just have one or two questions for you. One, I think you already answered that it doesn't require any additional licenses. It just come up with the regular Power BI one. But just wanted to know, like with regards to installation, apart from VS Code, did you install anything else in your machine? Does it require any other dependency or no? Just VS
No,
Code.
just VS Code.
Okay.
And
Okay.
a
Okay.
Copilot registration, Gaurav. Uh,
Yeah, but
right.
that's if you really if I have done this demo. If you want just to explore, you can explore with free, right? You can do your free
Okay.
exploration, you can do with the Git Copilot Hub. But if you want to
Okay.
do it in a production, definitely you need a license. A minimum license is required. But definitely, because it's an agent, it's an agent who is working behind the scene. Your If your
Yep.
client wants to do a higher operations, higher insights and all, they can purchase a license based on their requirement.
Okay, okay, got it, got it.
Great.
So based on my understanding right now with this whole implementation is like mainly developer focus activities we can mainly do with this type of integrations, correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay, okay,
So it
okay,
will
sounds good.
currently it is giving power to the developer side, so that they can
Mm,
work more efficiently, more faster with using
mm,
the AI agents. So right now these MCP concept is more, I think they are already used in .NET side, in where the heavy coding is there.
yes,
But in BI engineering side it is not. But with these new
yep.
introductions of MCPs in the analysis side, in BI space, now
Mm.
BI needs to push themselves as well to use this into their environment.
Right, right. I can consider or maybe compare this with the other product which is already in the Microsoft space. Like we are having Copilot across everywhere, like in Power Apps and Power Automate, right? Where you can make a prompt, it can create a basic template for you, and maybe you can customize more into that. But this thing was not because Power BI Desktop is a heavy software which is run on the desktop. So that's the reason why we probably need this kind of integration to do some automation, correct? That's
Right.
the whole idea around this whole.
Yes.
Yep.
and
Okay.
and the best part is that as I mentioned, it's an MCP, it's a part of it. You can use it in a AI framework. For example, Azure Foundry, you can create multiple
Yep.
MCPs. You can use Power App MCP. You can then create Power BI MCP, and just ask him to perform a task which related for both of them, and he can create the Power
Correct.
App with the Power BI dashboard as well entirely.
Correct, correct. And does it also work with the cloud data sources, which means that, let's say for an example, sometimes, end user's perspective when you are making some queries or when someone is asking some question, it is returning the data. So let's say if I build the MCP server for that and integrate with Copilot Studio or Azure AI Foundry, and let's say if I'm asking that, okay, how many is my monthly revenue or how many is my sales revenue, does it able to answer it from there as well, like those MCP endpoint if I attach to some other third party product?
Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
But the thing is that third party product do have that MCPs,
Okay.
exposed to use it, because
Yep.
until and unless they don't have an MCP, you need
Mm,
to create entire servers for them, right? And you can see
correct.
now day by day, you will hear that every company is providing their MCPs, like
MCP, correct.
Figma. Like Figma, I
Everyone,
recently
yes.
heard Figma provided their MCP. Now they want the AI agents to use the MCP, not their. So it will provide any agent to communicate, right? You can
Yep.
go into the Figma itself. They have their own agent sit over their environment. But what Figma wants, that any agent that a user is using, they can use the Figma just by using that MCP. So they will give you
Understand.
interoperability. They are giving you, more freedom towards the AI agents. They don't want you to come into our platform, sign it and all. But if you want to use another agent, which is more powerful, which you are already giving a license, you have already a license, you can use that.
Perfect. All good. Thanks a lot for all this explanation, Gaurav. And definitely, in future, if you something explore new, feel free to reach out to Abhinav or
Definitely.
me. Definitely, we will have another community session with you. It's very well explained, and I can see whole effort you place to make this 1 hour of session. I can see like weeks of effort is there to run this type of smooth demo and covering whole topic of this thing. I see many use cases around that, but thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, Ruben.
Thanks much, Gaurav. I think we have a couple of questions from community. Srini, you can go ahead and ask your question.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, hi, Gaurav. Srinivas here. My question might be a little silly. Just want to know, like, how does it work with the reports where the security is implemented, let's say RLS?
So it works with, so anything that, it can create your row level, it basically whatever in, operations you can perform with your modeling side, right? Whether it is row level security, it can create manage roles as well. It can create, it can work on that as well. So it is so powerful. I haven't done any, a POC on that, but I will definitely want to explore more on this, because I want to see how much, power this MCP has. But definitely it will do that, the row level security and all, because I see demos where people created the entire row level securities with the agent itself, and he's able to communicate with it.
All right, yeah. And one more question, like, uh, the scope for the MCP is only restricted to Power BI, or it's also can be used with the Power Apps and Automate as well for now?
So each individual, application has their, as I mentioned, has their own MCPs. So right now we just demoed right now, it is related to the Power BI Semantic, MCP, or Fabric Engineering MCP. If you have Power App, I don't know that Microsoft, created or, published any Power App MCP. But as I mentioned that, the basic concept now MCP. If you want, you can create your own servers. But right now, I don't think there is any public MCP. I don't know, maybe there it is available. I'm not aware of it. But if but you need to have an MCP to connect it, whether it is provided by the Microsoft or you created your own. So it's not universal. This Microsoft MCP, Power BI MCP, cannot connect with, Power App MCP. They have their own authentication. They have their own function implementation behind the scene. As I mentioned, as I show you in my code for the Fabric, I have created functions, API, REST APIs. So these MCPs are basically specific to specific products.
All right, yeah, yeah, makes sense. Thank you, Gaurav. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Yes, Srini, and also for Power Platform, the couple of things that are going on. One is like they have that CLI based MCP server, and then they have also added Dataverse MCP server. So it's like you can use DS Code to manipulate things in Dataverse already. So by the day they are getting added. As much as I know about the
Dataverse
Power
MCP
Platform side
server
of
is
the
very
things.
simple and very basic. I tried it. It's
Okay.
nothing doing much fancy thing. It just answer you based on your data, and even it sometimes getting confused by column names. So it doesn't effective right now. But what I see with Gaurav's demo today is really effective, because I have seen many
Yeah.
MCPs within the Copilot Studio space and explore those as well. But sometimes it's not understanding the context well, because those all are the low code MCPs
Right.
that they launched over there. So yeah, but hopefully this will add some more, I mean, it will become more mature, and at least people start because this type of use case and users perspective as well are very important when we work specifically with the BI and data space.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
makes
Sumit.
sense. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it is going to, augment the developers the most.
Correct.
Right. It's going to give a lot of power in their hands to work seamlessly. Uh, and like we saw, Gaurav not only did development, the semantic model development on the Power BI side, but he also did deployments, right? So a lot
Correct.
of DevOps
Pipelines and all,
processes also
yes.
we see getting automated, at least which do not lead a lot of security concerns as well. So if nothing, then at least you can do the architectural things right away. So really, I think this is evolving really fast. MCP server came in few weeks back. Before that, we tried doing it with TMDL and Claude. using GitHub Copilot Pro itself, and that was also effective, but not as easy. And as convenient as it is with MCP server. Like it is like a one-stop shop now. So like Gaurav presented. So thanks much Gaurav for conceiving this and architecting this and showing us an end-to-end data analytics development scenario. We saw the pipelines in action, we saw the Medallion in action, the DevOps, the semantic model. We pretty much covered everything that a BI developer or engineer does, right? So,
Thank you.
uh, and if I what I saw happening in this demo in half an hour, I think if I was to do that manually, might take a week or more.
Correct.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Absolutely.
First, it's very challenging to synchronize your VS Code with chat, and all you have to
Correct.
install
absolutely.
extension, and then you need to think about it how it works and all.
I
Yes,
also
yes.
read about a live extension. Now you could edit directly from it. Just came in last week. I haven't yet looked at it, but you can directly edit Fabric items indirectly in VS Code with an extension. So
With
it's like
the
you can
extension is
also
there,
do
as I mentioned.
change.
If
Uh,
I directly show you, there is a Fabric. I know we are out of time. Really sorry, but
That's fine.
just give you this. If you go into the extensions part, and you can see, over here you have Fabric extension
yeah,
as well. So what I already, it's not like I did it like couple of weeks, but you did it that you have this entire extension of Fabric. You can connect with your environment over here only. Now the best part is that as you mentioned, it just released. I haven't tried it, but what I'm trying to do is that if you see over here, you can connect with a configure, but you can also connect your extensions as well. Right now, it is not showing me the extension of my Fabric. It's showing me only the Azure extensions, but I might
right,
need to, update, or might need to configure some of the part. But once I have, my agent is able to identify this extension, this Power BI Fabric extension. Now I can directly do the, development in my tenant. I don't need to do, whatever I've
yeah,
designed first. Over here, you can see that, Dev MCP that we show in the demo, right? I'm able to see that in my VS Code itself. Now my agent can directly connect with my pipelines over here. He can code the entire script over here. So I don't know if right now he's
right,
not able to right now, but the lakehouse he can create the tables directly with it. In
right,
now the entire picture will be coming to you. Don't need to copy paste waste. You first need to prompt, then he will create a code. Then you need to copy that into your environment. This cycle will be
absolutely
end. Now what you need to
correct,
do, just ask him to create this table. He now know he has the extension of Fabric MCP. He know there is a lakehouse. He connect with it. He will run your script directly in your lakehouse. You don't need to go copy and
right.
paste, and you can see live things on that.
Right. So not only the new development, but it is enabling us to also manipulate the existing ones, and do edits,
Existing.
changes, maintenance
Right.
of Fabric. Imagine like if we have all this enabled for a maintenance project, right, in Fabric.
I
So it makes
understand,
things
and it's
far more
become easy
easier.
to, yeah, and it's easy to,
Yeah.
the developer shifting sometimes when we do some employees leaving and all. At the time, it is again like a very savior because to understand each measure, to understand what's there in the existing model, it becomes so easy with this one.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Have you tried to create some visualization with this, Gaurav? Maybe, or
Visualization is
or
not
is it not
supported right
support?
now.
Not
No,
supported?
it's not
Okay.
supported right now.
Hopefully, very
It's
soon
just
it will
semantic.
support. Let us do something. Otherwise, what we will do, right? I
No,
mean,
for that there is Copilot already, Ruben.
yes,
So
I
that
know
you can
it's
do
it's
and
in the
design.
cloud version.
Yes.
Yeah, it's in Power BI desktop. Okay, okay,
Right,
okay.
right.
I
We
see, I
did
see.
it with Claude. We did it with Claude, not
Okay.
MCP server, but we did it directly with Claude. It was not that efficient. Like even to
Hmm.
create a basic graph, it didn't follow the instructions properly while we were doing it from VS Code. So we concluded that it's best to design them yourself or do it with the help of Copilot inside the environment for
But I'm
now.
sure like couple of months, Power Microsoft is going to create the same MCP, because now if you able to identify the syntax, the semantic, and we know that behind the scene we have TMDLR concept, the entire code we can see of a visualization in a JSON format. So I don't think it will be very complex to crack that. How AI agent will create the entire visualize based on
Correct.
the in the code, the JSON format we have in TMDLR format we have behind the scene.
Yeah.
Right, right. So, one question I have just for you. In Power BI, the one Copilot that we are having, which specific license, which minimum license we require to have it? I mean, to utilize it, because generally when I open my Power BI desktop, mostly with the normal Pro license, it's disabled most of the time. Is it
You need a
something
Fabric
due to
capacity. You need a capacity
okay,
license. But now they have permitted it in like F2, F4, F8 as well. So you
okay,
need a Fabric
okay.
capacity license.
CPU
Earlier it
doesn't
was
support it?
in only in Premium or F64, but now it is
Okay.
enabled in for you in
Hmm.
F2, F4, F8 as well.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. Understood. Understood. All good. I think we are, it's a good
Yeah,
Sunday
time and
morning,
I
I can
think
say. Yes.
absolutely. So this was an Power AI packed, MCP server packed, powerful performance. Thank you so much, Gaurav, for joining us
Thanks a
today,
lot, Gaurav.
enlightening the community. And for everyone, this session is will be recorded and live on YouTube channel as well. Dhruvin will share that later. Thank you so much all for joining. Thanks so much, Gaurav,
Thank you.
and everyone else.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Gaurav.
Thank you also.
Rahul, hi. Bye.